At first, it was, there was a Sean Penn movie. There was an Into the Wild movie, and it was based on a book, and I didn't read the book until I knew that I was going to do the movie. I was going to do it anyway, but this is kind of how it went down. At first, it was Sean contacted me. I got like a call on my cell phone from him, and he was like, I have this script, and I really love it, and I've kind of gotten it to a point where I can't go any further, and now I want to hear it. And the first thing that I did was I went in. There was like a table read, and a lot of different actors came, and I read a couple different parts just because I was a voice. And then I went in and I played guitar for him because there was one I really loved one of the roles especially, and I went and I played guitar for him. I played Blackbird, and then he called me and asked me. He's such a cool guy, you know. He called me and said, you know, hey, you want to do this thing with me? And I was like, yeah, I do. And that's how I got into it. There's a message to it, but the story's driven by, like, you know, all the people that he meets along the way on his little trip. It's like a series of little vignettes, you know. There's really complete stories in the one, you know, whole story of Chris McCandless. And one of them is this girl who he meets briefly in this place called the Slabs, and it's way down south by, like, the border of Mexico and California, and it's this girl, I play this girl, Tracy, who lives there and has lived there her whole life. She's never been anywhere else, and that in itself is a trip because it's such a tiny little place. It's so self-sufficient. I mean, it's about these people. This place is totally about these people who have gotten away from society and who sort of like want to live off the grid, much like Chris, in sort of a different way because they're sort of rooted there. But she's like a little singer-songwriter, little hippie chick. The trippy thing about the Slabs is that it wasn't, you know, full of extras wearing like bandanas and old 70s clothes. The people who lived at the Slabs, it's a real place. For the performance where we needed hundreds of people, I mean, they lived there. They were the people that are there every Saturday night watching the people play. And it was, honestly, they pumped me up. I think if it was a bunch of actors, like, having a first assistant director tell them to clap, like, when I played, it might be just, like, less encouraging. They were really, like, a warm crowd to play to. I've never played music for anyone, and, you know, the first time I started playing, I messed up. I started singing, like, the wrong verse, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna start one more time, and they were clapping and really, like, stoked. They were enthusiastic and genuinely, not really, like, you know, they were a real crowd. They were stoked to be there. We played it a couple times. I went in and rehearsed a couple times with the music director, who kind of, I don't know, ran the whole show just in regards to our songs at the Slabs, I think. So I had time to rehearse it myself, and Emil came in the first time with Sean into the guy's studio, just to sort of lay down exactly what we were going to be doing, like establish, like, you know, what the song is going to be like, who's going to sing what verse. But we only sang it together once or twice before we actually went and did it there. And we also pre-recorded a song that we were going to play back, and we never ended up using it. It was all live, which was intense.